AISD has approximately 10,000 students who receive special ed services. What do you consider some of the challenges facing special ed in AISD today? And as a trustee, how would you address them? And Jared, we'd like to start with you.
That is a great question. So I think I actually am the only candidate that has had that experience inside of the classrooms as a special ed. Excuse me if I don't know your backgrounds, and you probably do, but like I said, I've been a substitute teacher, and a lot of times I've went into those classrooms. So one of the things that I noticed off the top of my head is the amount of support that our special education teachers and staff members are receiving from our central admin. I think that a lot of times, you know, our teachers and our staff inside of the classrooms are not receiving that hands-on, you know, hey, have you tried this, things like that. So I've done a lot of long-term sub positions in our special education classrooms, and I haven't seen that. In addition to that, I would also say it's about making sure that our students have their IEPs updated regularly and that they're monitored and closely updated. And then last but not least, basically making sure that we're not over diagnosing our students, but we're actually making sure that we give them the resources that they need. So those are the main things that I think that our special education department could use. And then last but not least, I know I have about a few more seconds. I know that our special education advisory committee has a lot of members that have been on there for years. I think that our district has several other special education advocates and families that deserve a right to be on the special education advisory committee as well. So that's a very big issue.
Thank you. Leticia?
Thank you, Roxanne. I would lean on the special education parent advocate groups to share with me what they believe is the best path forward, what they are seeing is most beneficial for their students, what is working at one campus and not working at the others. Those are the best people to tell any trustee, any administrator, what is working and what is not working and what is needed. I don't have any firsthand experience in the classroom like Jared does. I do know that whatever we're doing, we need to do it better and we need more resources, and it probably needs to go on a scorecard. I'm not familiar if it currently is on the scorecard, but certainly this is an area where much improvement is needed, and I would lean on those parents that we've already all heard from that certainly have a lot of great things to say and a lot of suggestions to add. Thank you.
Thank you. Mike?
Yeah, so I mean, I can definitely say that as a former teacher who has had special education students in my classroom, I would have been, it would have been very difficult for me if I didn't have a great teaching assistant in that classroom, especially as a first-year teacher. And so we need to be considering how we're supporting our educators and our families and our students to ensure that nobody's getting left behind. Additionally, what we have to do is, as a district, understand that providing special education services is about more than just meeting federal and state legal reporting requirements. And I feel like it's not just Austin, it's almost every district that I've ever worked with. And it's in special education and ELL services, almost every district just meets the bare minimum of legal requirements. And we have to stop doing that. We have to understand that our goal should be talking about how we work towards providing developmentally appropriate education to all of our students. And so, you know, I've heard there's also an equity issue here with special education. I've heard from folks that if you have access to a lawyer, you're going to get much better services more quickly. And if you don't, then you might not get those services. And I think there's now clearly an income equity issue in that for services as well. And so we have to continue talking to people who are the direct stakeholders of this work, which is us also as candidates and board members. But we have to bring the right people to the table at the right time and not afterwards.
Thank you. Nolita, your thoughts?
Roxanne. Yes, so I wanted to mention that the majority of my campaign team happens to be people who identify as parents with special education students or who identify as people with disabilities. That is an incredible, just an incredible privilege on my part to be able to have folks like that working directly with me and helping to inform me and really help me see blind spots. To add that, you know, my eldest is currently in 4th grade, but when he was in 2nd grade, I saw how our district was pushing families out of general education and out of inclusive environments and really pushing special education families toward segregated SPED units. Incredibly ableist, and it goes against the spirit of the federal laws that we should be following. I also wanted to mention that there is a final report from 2009 that was procured by AISD. In 2009, it has 21 recommendations regarding special education practices. And so I would love to see what happened to those recommendations, or is it sitting on a shelf somewhere? Lastly, I want us to have a budget that reflects our commitment to recruiting and retaining qualified special education educators and moving the special education department closer to the superintendent so that we don't have as many administrative or bureaucratic organizational layers between the superintendent and SPED. And I could probably go on and on. Universal design. Oh, there you go.
Okay, thank you.